custom text with Adobe Photoshop. Got some nice results here. My 3D text effect from Photoshop matches my Lobo logo, and I was able to get it done in Photoshop just how I wanted it. And then in Photopea, it was the font had to be replaced, and the adjustment didn't go quite as smooth, and there's a little bit too much room between the F and the A, but it worked. So for a free online editor, it worked. So let's check it out. I went to Adobe Stock and got this file, White and Blue Sports League Font Classic. So I went to the Adobe Stock homepage. It looks like if you want to just search images, you get more Illustrator text effects. But if you come into templates and search for like text effect, you can filter by Photoshop and get a bunch of them. And there's a lot of pop culture effects. If you want to add neon or something 3D, and you can search by the different applications. You can filter by what's popular. So find anyone you like. I just added college or sports, and found this one. So sometimes the fonts can be tricky. I've noticed it's getting a lot better. So let's go to this file preview. All right, so here it is again, and then I'm just going to re-download it. Sometimes the fonts can be a pain, and so it's getting better though. I think all these Adobe Stock templates are made with mostly Adobe cloud-friendly fonts, so you don't get as many problems as you used to. But downloading and installing fonts is pretty easy, except I had problems. So let's check it out. All right, so I got it downloaded on my desktop. I got Photoshop open. You could right-click open with Photoshop, and then just drag it onto Photoshop, and it should open in Photoshop. I am going to move it over a little bit, and it looks like something. If I go to the Move tool and click off, I get rid of that bounding box. So it's just like the product mockups where you edit a smart object. All right, you just got to use the type tool to edit the type. So I'm going to save it as something else other than entitled one. So when I download it, it comes downloaded as a PSDT for template. And then I'm going to do File, Save As, and call this Text Effect PSD Demo. And make sure I got Format Photoshop. Desktop is good. Save it. Okay. All right, so here it is. All right, now I got a new name in the tab. I'm not going to overwrite that original template file. So double click, and so the text is Octon College, which I've used before, and it is an Adobe font if you Google it. So hopefully yours works. If it doesn't, you're going to have to go download Octon College, right? You'd have to go to just Google, I guess, do Octon College. I was trying heavy because I think it's actually the heavy family or style. All right, and so it's in Adobe, and I tried a bunch of these downloads to get it into Photopea, and it didn't work. Maybe it was my system. But usually you just download a font, and it comes to your desktop in a zip file, compressed file. Some of these are kind of spammy sites, but eventually you find the OTF or TTF font that you want, and you download it to your desktop, and double click to unzip it, and then it goes in your user folder. There it is, this TTF. Looks like my machine's getting kind of laggy. All right, so heavy 2, I copied it. All right, so usually you just hit install, but I get some kind of invalid. So I tried like 10 times and got frustrated, but that's how you download and install a font. If maybe it's like an IT thing and they don't let me because it's a school computer I'm on. But anywho, all right, so back to the fun stuff. So we're in Photoshop, and we want to customize the type. So you just double click on the T icon in the layers panel. I can go to Window, workspace essentials and reset essentials, so my view might look more like yours. And then double click and type in fall, enter, return 2025, and then go to the move tool or hit, sometimes there's a check mark, so I think if you hit enter, you go like a return carriage, so you do command enter and that enters or accepts your changes, or just switch to the move tool. And then reposition. I'm not quite done editing, so let's get it kind of centered. All right, so you might want to resize. It's kind of nice. You can use this scrubby zoom. If you put your cursor to the left of the font number, the icon changes to that targeted adjustment tool, and you can kind of get a visual instead of trying to dial in number after number. But there is a little drop shadow on this, so I'm going to kind of make it a little smaller, I guess, even though you don't really have to. Just kind of wanted to show that targeted adjustment scrubby zoom. And then there's too much leading in between the lines. There's too much spacing. So I need to go to my character panel. It looks like, they're trying to do this with the properties panel, which I guess is fine if it's in your view. So I want the character, here it is. This, if you hover, that you get a tooltip, set leading. You can click and scrub left, and then I can kind of make it tighter, less spacing in between. I think that's pretty good for me, and I can just use the smart guides to align it. Okay. So once you have it edited with the words, letters you want, then in the spacing, hit X to save your changes in the PSB tab that you're in. Save it. And it looks good. So I like how it looks. I don't like the black background. I like kind of that drop shadow on it. And I'm going to merge visible to top. So that Command Shift Option, the 3 modifier keys with your left hand, and then the E key with your right hand should put all visible pixels on a new layer. And then you can eyeball off the layers below. And now I can adjust this layer. So I want to adjust the text so that blue is Lobo blue. I'm going to hit enter to get rid of the linked X in the bounding box to embed the file in this document. And then if I go to my eyedropper tool, I can eyedropper the dark blue, and I can check out the color if I double click on the foreground color chip of 210, 92, 58 in HSB, the hues. 210, 92, saturation, brightness 58, okay. And then what I want to do is I want to click on the layers panel and target the type and add an adjustment layer for hue saturation. And I want to colorize it. And I want to colorize it. I should be able to 210, so somehow it goes to 210. But I want the saturation to be 92. And then the brightness to be 58, except that just gets way too bright. So I don't know, I guess I'm just gonna kind of eyeball the brightness. I'm looking more at the face of the letters. You want more blue in the faces, or do you want more white? Once you go too far, how about mostly white with a little blue? All right, so I used 210 hue, 92 saturation, and the lightness basically the same, 0, -1. And now I can eyeball off Lobo and go to the move tool. And now I got some nice text I can take into Adobe Express. So let me save it, Command S, and then export it. I could try dragging this Photoshop file into Adobe Express, but why not? So let's see, Adobe Express. Let me make a new document of 16 by 9. Don't want a YouTube video. I just want to see if my file I got here. So I do want it linked because it's a bunch of layers. And it looks like it comes in pretty good. So then when I did Illustrator, it got distorted. It should process, and it looks grainy right now, but it should process and smooth out. See how it's processing, uploading. So I don't know. It's kind of nice that Photoshop talks to Express in this nice way, and it saves your work. But traditionally, you just export a PNG, right? So you'd come back and you do File, Export, come back to Photoshop, File, Export. Either quick export as PNG or export as and select PNG. And if you want to change the size, you can. So desktop. And I got a messy desktop, so it's going in the background somewhere. So I got to find it now. There it is. So good job. It processed better than the Illustrator file. Looks like it wants me to open it in Photoshop to re-edit it, but I don't know. Either way is fine. They look exactly the same to me. So I'll do Command Z, just leave this one, this linked file. But let's check out Photopea. So if you're interested in Photopea, I was able to get similar results, except there's a little red outline on the letters. So, all right, let's start over. So I'm going to X out of this file, and I'm going to drag my PSDT in. All right, it looks like the font works, but it doesn't. When you double click on your text here in your layers panel, it doesn't have. And then you double click on the T. All right, so you lose your font. So I just ended up going to, well, I tried downloading a bunch of fonts, but it didn't work for me for some reason, but it might for you. So I just went to search fonts, and I typed in the college in the box, and I got this college font. So done with the editing. Well, okay, so I wanted to make it fall, and then enter return 2025, and click off to save my type edits, reposition to center it with the smart guides. And all right, so here's the, so in Photoshop it had the, I did everything through the properties panel. So under window, properties, but I don't see properties. Right, I'm just kind of hovering over these. Usually it's like in these tabs here, but it says it's open already. So, all right. So I guess I'm going to do it how I usually you use the character panel, and in Photopea it's right here. This T, click to get the character panel. You got your type selected. I'm going to triple click to make it highlighted. Then here's leading, and you can kind of whoop. It goes really fast if you go left, but something like that, get them closer together. Tracking, right? You can kind of make the letter spacing a little tighter if you want to try. Except I couldn't get, you want kerning, which is in between letters. So let's see, I can try one more time if I close the character panel by clicking here and then go to my, I'm trying to get my cursor. So I may have to go to the type tool. All right, and so sometimes you could bring up your character panel and edit the tracking just between two letters. Yeah, that's not doing anything. Right, here's what I'm trying to say. So in Photoshop, you could go to your smart object, and then click, and then go to your character panel, or go to your tracking for the selected characters. I'm going to bring up window, character panel. And right, so this is the one I want, this set kerning between two characters. If I click and drag left, right, see how it just adjusts in between those two letters because my cursor's right here. So, all right, so kind of picky, but you know, sometimes it does kind of make has problems. So I don't know. I could try to set my spacing to optics or mess with auto letting, direction. Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to live with it and move on. Sorry for that sidetrack, but I don't know. Sometimes it actually matters. You never know what your client, coworker, friend's going to say. Okay, so done. Save it. Command S. Smart object updated. X out. And now I got the type, except I don't want the background. And I want to merge visible. So with the top layer selected, 3 modifier keys with your left hand, Command Shift Option, right hand E key, and it puts a new layer on top. So now I'm just editing this one layer, and I can apply the hue adjustment effect with colorize, and I can dial in 210, 92, 58, which I used last time, except again that 58 doesn't play so well, so something like in the middle for lightness. All right, and when you're done making the, oh, here's the properties panel. All right, so when you're done, I thought that was a properties panel. Anyways, all right, so save it. Saving should get rid of the asterisk. Oh, I don't want to save it over my original template, so I should do File, Save as PSD, and call it something unique. Photopea text effect demo. And get rid of the properties panel. I could save it to my P drive, save more PSD to storage, and put it in the P drive in the cloud in case I want to ever come back and use it again. And file export. I could save it and drag the PSD and do Express, but export as PNG, and you have it on your desktop. But I already got it, and I like kind of what I had, so a little sidetrack with, oh, did it work? Did it, sorry, I gotta check here. It looks like this time my red outline along the top went away. Wow. Okay, so, sorry. All right, so let's get Lobo in, deselect the text, bring in our logo, scale it down a little, option drag, reposition to the right, center it, move this text off to the left, and maybe move Lobo a little to the right. Could use the right. All right, so give it a name, so it's not untitled, text effect demo 2025, and grab a background that you like. I'm just going to choose a boring gray radial gradient, but any photo background. And click on it, set it to the background. I think I added a drop shadow to this Lobo under Effects, Scroll Classic, so they kind of match. And download it to your desktop. I'm going to do JPEG. Seems like when I upload these to YouTube, sometimes I get file size error messages. So that's mine for this week, for this assignment. I hope you learned something. And customize any text effect you want. Edit that smart object, and you could just export it from Photoshop. You could do something in Adobe Express. Have fun with your text effect.